Breaking news. It doesn't happen often right while we're doing the show, but we do have breaking news with Blink from Blink on Crime regarding the Christine Sheddy case. Blink, you're with me, I hope?
I am.
Hey.
How are you, Dana?
I'm fine. I know it's been busy for you. It's a case we've talked about. Of course, go to blinkoncrime.com or check us out at scaredmonkeys.com. We do have breaking news. Although sad news, it is good news, I guess, when it comes to the investigation part. It's always good to have this. Tell us what's going on.
It is, Dana. First, I want to say it's unofficial, but my sources are telling me that are inside the investigation that the remains recovered yesterday in the area of, there's a bed and breakfast there in Snow Hill, Maryland called the Riverside Inn, are that of Christine Marie Sheddy.
Okay. Well, this is a case that, we have talked about. It's been a little while. Refresh my audience's memory, please.
Sure. Christine Sheddy was a guest of some, what she thought were friends, in a farmhouse on Bird Road, and was last seen and heard from on the evening of November 12th, 2007. Although there had been what I'll call peripheral witness accounts and speculations, it was not until through the dogged pursuit of Christine's mom, Lynn Dodenhoff, she had come to me and said, could you do a piece? And, legitimately provided access, which I could not believe. She had maintained notes, emails, fax data, things she had investigated herself. And we, through that work and through the pieces on Blink on Crime, we're quite certain that the last time that Christine had been seen was at a party the night of November 12th at the Bird Road Farm. Prior to that, there had been several fires that occurred, some requiring as many as 3 different volunteer fire department responders. So a significant, 3-alarm blaze, if you will, that seemed to never have really been investigated. There were no classifications on those fires as if they were accidental or arson of any kind. It's our position that possibly had that occurred and an arrest made in those fires, Christine would be here today.
Yeah, and it is so sad because you've done such good work covering this case, and when we look at all the pieces and putting it together, just sitting back and reading the investigative reporting that you've done, you're right, it is difficult. This is breaking news regarding the disappearance of Christine Sheddy. Tell us, what's the, and I know it hasn't been confirmed yet, but let's talk about the location from where she lived to where she was located.
Well, where she lived, it's significant. It's about 2 hours away, but where she was staying, it's about 11 miles.
Okay.
So it's certainly, it's also on sort of the river bank there, if you will. She was not on the bank, so it was not a situation where she washed ashore. She was actually buried. That's about as much as I can say regarding her recovery at this point. But one of the things that in this case that has been so riveting, and we've talked about it briefly, I think we talked about it in the year-end show, is Christine's mom and dad and her family have just waged an absolute onslaught to resurrect her case and to be heard and to bring her to the forefront, because the investigation into her disappearance, in my opinion, and based on the facts of the case, was really not taken very seriously by this local jurisdiction. And to further add to that, and Dana, I'm a staunch law enforcement supporter, as you know.
Yep.
In this instance, the work that needed to be done was not done. 2 years after the fact, meaning October, November this year, in 2009, some witnesses had just been interviewed for the first time.
Yeah.
And what happened was, through Lynn's, again, I'll call it dogged pursuit, after the original lead detective in the case was allowed to resign with his pension, after he was investigated by the state's attorney's office, Joel Todd's office, she went to where she needed to go to say, listen, I don't believe my daughter's case is being taken seriously. What are you going to do? And the case was taken from Worcester County Investigative Bureau and given to the Maryland State Police. Dana, I kid you not, between the efforts of Joel Todd's office and the Maryland State Police received this case on Monday, the 15th of February.
Mm-hmm.
We had a recovery of what we believe to be Christine Sheddy yesterday.
Yeah, 4 days. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
That is nothing short of a mother's vehemence. And honestly, there were days when we covered this case and I would speak to her and I thought, geez, maybe this isn't the right work for me. I just don't have the thick skin. And she would say, hey, you know what, Blink? Chin up.
Yeah.
Get moving.
Yeah.
I couldn't say enough kind and, inspirational words about her and her family in recovering.
Isn't it amazing? And you and I have talked about it before, is the strength that the victims' families have, and in particular this case. Has there been, and I know it's preliminary, but has there been any reaction from the family?
I'm going to withhold comment. I have spoken with the family,
okay.
But out of out of respect for their privacy and
Absolutely.
what we've been asked to keep a lid on, if you will, out of respect again for the work of the Maryland State Police and the State's Attorney's Office, I will just say that I think it's fair to say she and her family are highly appreciative of all the efforts that everyone has put forward on her daughter's behalf, and they await the official classification, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. No, I understand and totally respect that. As far as the investigation goes, 4 days, we have a preliminary recovery. What's next, or have you heard as far as the investigation?
I have, Dana, and that's an excellent question. There's Joel Todd was quoted as saying there's a much larger investigation, that the tip that led police to what we believe Christine's remains was part of that. And we've uncovered and covered some very peculiar goings-on in terms of some of the government in this Pocomoke City. And it's my understanding that the ATF, through a meeting that I advised and took place, is also investigating the fire issue. Mm-hmm. Although they don't confirm that. That's their policy, similar to the FBI.
Sure.
And also some ancillary government issues that are being looked into. When I had heard that, I was surprised at the swiftness of the State's Attorney's Office to retract the case from the local jurisdiction, and they would have, Maryland State Police, had they not had a full caseload, had taken it a bit earlier. I mean, they literally just got this case. So, again, kudos to the State's Attorney's Office and the special investigator there, who I don't know if I can release his name, so I won't.
Sure.
They did such fine legwork when they took over this case and then turned it over to Maryland State Police. So it really is, a success in working together rapidly and with great respect for Christine.
Yeah, and that's what needs to be done and hasn't been done. Quite apparently, is respect for the family, and let's get the investigation going. They've had a real good start, and I know, Blink, that there's probably a lot more that we're not hearing about right yet, and we should hear about in the next few days. Great job reporting this, and tell the folks how they can find out more about you and your blog.
Thank you, Dana. I do appreciate that. We're blinkoncrime.com, our true crime site, where we do profile quite a bit of missing persons cases. In this case, this was a very cold case with no, and I mean no, resources available. We researched this case through witnesses, through the family, through people that were there, and that's really the only way to do it. And I just want to impart, on behalf of the Sheddys and the Dodenhoff families, they never gave up hope.
Yeah.
They fought to find their loved one, and they fought to get answers. And I just want that to be an inspiration to families who are, as we know, so common, are missing their loved one and not getting answers. Don't give up.
No, that's for sure. And, and don't give up the good work that you've been doing on your end either, Blink. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you so much, Dana. Be well.